I find it fascinating to read people's comments. And they're really a measure of the unfortunate state of our nation in terms of critical thinking. We are lacking it as a nation almost completely. I mean, I can't really determine the numbers because how do you measure? How do you go? It's an old classic that I've tried to play with my child when she was in second grade. And so you actually have to go and find some way to use sampling. You cannot just go and ask 330 million people what their opinion is. Yeah, but sampling usually is wrong. But it's not fully wrong. I mean, it's representative if you do it right. But this isn't the issue here. The issue is we don't really measure correctly, even when we measure as correctly as we can, right? I mean, we don't ask kids because they're too young. And so to ask a child, what is your opinion on whether or not we should drill in Alaska, nobody pays attention to that. And to ask, when do you start, right? I mean, to ask a 4-year-old, how do they want life to be in 14 years? Well, opportunity cost is terrifying, right? I mean, if you chose to do this versus that, and that doesn't have a chance to manifest itself, depending on what that is, if the 4-year-old in 14 years doesn't have a woods available to them to play in, your choice 14 years ago was in error. But you never asked the 4-year-old, right? And so recently, when I moved to Missouri over 6 months ago, and just less than a month ago, I listened to former Governor Jay Nixon speak in Fulton, Missouri, at from the same lecture as Winston Churchill spoke the Iron Curtain speech. And so he pointed out to a law that was enacted in the 1920s on protecting Missouri woods against substantially overcutting timber. And little did I know, I had no idea, this was not something that I knew about. But the governor used this example to say, look, you can protest all you like, but if you don't act on whatever it is that you care for, then nothing will actually happen. The way I see this is, therefore, every one of us who has children has to act in the benefit of those children, not just today, but in the forecasted benefit of those children into the future, right? Now, but we have shifted the country towards a culture where we do not see the value of nature. We do not see the value of, well, this is just a wood. What does it do for me? Until, in economics, the value of a wood is so much higher once it's cut, right? Well, that isn't true. That is wrong. That is just a feature of the imbecility of economists, to this day. We don't assign sufficient value to basic, normal, natural things, water and air and things that we need for continued life. We just don't assign financial value to those. And so, but the bottom line is that in politics, one has to actually stand up with a united voice to say, no, our 4-year-olds also deserve a say, and it is a say not now, but into the future that depends on our decisions of today. Let's make it be that way.